big day. If you are a San Diego State fan, J.D. Wicker will be on the show at 4 p.m. Chris Vanini from The Athletic on college football realignment at 5:30. And great right now to catch up with Matt Bradley, San Diego State star guard coming off a huge year last year, willing San Diego State back to the NCAA tournament. I know he's back. Practice is underway. I actually saw Matt this past weekend, a couple of his teammates as well, at the Swish League at La Jolla Country Day. So, Matt, great to have you back with us here on John and Jim and Xtra 1360. I hope you're doing well, and thanks for doing it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. So, Matt, I need to just start with, what's it like at the end of a year? How do you decompress? Because so much goes into a season. You guys are in the NCAA tournament. You had close game after close game down the stretch, Mountain West Championship game against Boise State, the finish against Creighton. So when the season ends, how are you able to decompress?
Yeah, it's kind of it's so much details that go into it. It's just like a matter of, being able to move on from the results, look back on the good things that happened in the season and, be motivated to do better the next one. And I think, I had a hard time doing that for a second. It took me a while, come to grips with, it is what it is. Only I can't let it, tarnish me. I just got to let it, better me and the team. And I think everybody, definitely felt, a sense of, sadness, just not winning that Mountain West Championship and, not doing better in the tournament. But ultimately, we got a bunch of warriors here. And I think, as we can see the past couple of weeks just from workouts, like everybody's taken that and let it elevate their game. So it's actually been, something for the better, hopefully, this upcoming season.
How has the first week or two of practice been back on the Mesa?
The first week or two of practice, it looks, being here for another year, it felt a lot different. And just viewing the new guys coming in, like, it looked totally different from when I first came in. I feel like I was struggling with a lot more things than they already are. They look really comfortable, and they just want to play. And that's what we've been doing. We've been competing. The guys returning. Everybody looks confident right now, and we've been battling. So, we're deep. And every time we scrimmage, it's like playoff game 7 or something like that. So it's been really competitive.
Matt Bradley with us right now on John and Jim. Again, San Diego State star guard basketball season coming up 3 or 4 months from now. Aztecs have a loaded 2022-23 season. Matt, when you look back on last season or your first year in a San Diego State uniform and you're just talking about it, are there things you kind of learn from your first season that you now take with you to your second season that make you a better player?
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of it's mental, and some of it is, physical and skill. I'd say from a mental point, just being okay, being comfortable with myself and trusting my game and trusting my coaches. And, it took me a while to establish that relationship with everybody that was new, but now that it's already very solid and I'm comfortable with everybody that's here, it's only going to get better, this upcoming season. And then, skill-wise, just being able to, trust my game as far as taking less dribbles, becoming a better defender, getting my body in the best shape possibly earlier in the season except, last season it was more so later in the season. So, little things like that. And just, coming into my 5th year of college, I feel like, I'm a grown man and it's like only right that I ended on a right note. So, definitely learned a lot of things.
You mentioned how intense the practices have been. 2 new guys on the team, Darian Trammell and Mike Parrish. What have those 2 guys brought to this team so far that you've seen at practice?
Darian, he brought a nice style of pace and skill to practice. He's re-scanning the floor. He's making plays for himself, but also other people, and he's a dog on the ball. And he's also like one of we're trying to establish who our leaders are, but he's definitely being very vocal, and everybody looks up to him. So definitely have a great respect for Darian. And Micah, he came in shooting lights out. He's somebody that, he's unconscious. He shoots the 3 when he catches it, and then he makes the right play for other people's when he has a chance to. And defensively, he's been guarding me, and he's somebody that, I've having battles with, and it's been nice to compete with somebody that, will challenge me on one end and the other. So, both of them. And, as far as, our freshmen, too, they definitely accepted the challenge, and they're getting better every day.
And one player that a lot of you guys talked about last year that we didn't see, Ladie, Could you tell us what the expectations for him are this season? Because it feels like everybody talks about him as this guy that is going to make such a big impact for you guys next year.
Yeah, no, definitely. Ladie, he does a lot of things you can't teach, playing on his team. I more so played against him in practice last year, and I definitely felt his presence. But playing on his team, I'm like, if I miss a shot, it's either like I hope I make it, we're going to get 2 points because like, I'm going to make it or he's going to get the rebound. And most times if I miss it, he's going to get the rebound. So just playing with him offensively, he's a threat. 3 through 5, like, he can guard multiple positions, but he can stick with Nate, he can stick with Keyshot, and if he gets switched on me, he guards me well, and he can, score against me. So, the dude's a beast, and also he's just a great person, even when, everybody has their days where, sometimes you can't find the goal or whatever the case may be, but he never switches up. He always stays solid, and he's always a great teammate, which is the biggest thing I feel like that we like from him. But, other than that, yeah, he's a beast.
Matt Bradley with us right now on John and Jim. I mentioned the fact, Matt, that I saw you this past weekend, Swish League La Jolla Country Day. You were playing with Keyshot Johnson, who looked unbelievable. It's amazing. You don't see someone for 3 or 4 months. He looks even more physical than I remember him just a couple of months ago. I wanted to ask you about Keyshot, but specifically also the freshmen. You were taking on Miles Bird and Elijah Saunders. You remember going back 4 or 5 years. What's it like for freshmen to get acclimated to the college game?
Yeah, the biggest thing is the speed of the game and the physicality. I think Elijah got the physicality down, and Miles more so has the speed down. Miles has a certain type of swagger that, regardless of who he's going against or what's going on, he's going to play his game, and, he feels good and he trusts himself. And Elijah, he's super dominant. I call him Ladie 2.0 just because of how his body is and how physical he is. But I think the game is a little sped up for him, and that's something I had to deal with coming into college, just slowing things down because, he showed that he has the game. But when things start to slow down for him a little bit more as far as the speed and, the coaching and all that, I think that's when his game is going to really start to show.
So what do you think? I mean, you're playing this summer at least a handful of times with Keyshot in this Swish League. Keyshot, what type of growth have you seen in his game?
Yeah, Keyshot, he's putting a lot of work this summer. As far as me, after the season, I took some time off, and with him, it felt like he was in the gym the next day working on what he needed to work on, him and Lamont. But, Keyshot, I haven't played with him really since, playing in the Swish, since season. And what I saw from him was, like, he looks really comfortable with the rock, pushing it in transition. He's making the right plays. And then when he gets down that lane, he's somebody that you don't want to get in front of because he's going to dunk on you. So there's that, and then defensively, you know what he does. He's long. He's a warrior. He's going to fight on every possession, and he's definitely gotten better. And his jump shot has improved tremendously as well. And the biggest thing is just his confidence. So he's shooting it. He's shooting it in practice all the time. He's knocking it down. So he looks really good right now.
I feel like the expectations for this team are very, very high for next season. Have you talked to teammates and the expectations for you guys? What do you guys talked about as far as next season for your team goes?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just being the best who we can be. Not limiting ourselves. Going into certain environments, especially like Maui and stuff, and not. It's okay to have the underdog mentality, but understanding, we're the best team here and we should come out, winning every game. And we go into conference, hey, look, we're the best team here. We need to win every game we can. And, going into the NCAA tournament, like, we just have to have that approach where we're not, we're lucky and we're glad to be here, but we need to take care of business. So I think that's where everybody's mind is right now. And I think if we have that mindset, not going into games thinking like, being shy and timid, but more so the aggressors and, having other teams, worry about us, we're going to do really well.
Matt, before we let you go, I mean, based on the way last year ended, is there a way to use that as a motivation going forward for the team in general? Like, is there that – does the team feel hungry based on how many guys you have coming back and that bad taste in your mouth the way it ended against Creighton?
Yeah, most definitely. I think moments like that can either make you or break you. And, definitely tested all of us for a while. And right now, as far as what I've seen, every one of us have been locked in. Even the new guys, they've taken it personal, and they know what's happening. They're Aztecs now, and we're all accepting the challenge to do better from last year and learn from our mistakes. And we didn't let it break us down. And I think it's going to show coming up this season. So thank you for all the fans that's been watching and for the ups and downs. But I think we have a great season ahead of us.
Well, I always say last year's more ups than downs. I mean, you guys got to the NCAA tournament, which is always an amazing accomplishment. You spent 3 years in the Pac-12, didn't get to the NCAA tournament. You had a hell of a year, made a run in the Mountain West tournament as well. And we'll see what 2022-23 brings for you and your teammates. But, Matt, we greatly appreciate your time. Best of luck this summer in the Swish League and getting ready for San Diego State basketball this fall as well.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
All right, Matt Bradley, San Diego State star guard. Again, you look back at what he did last year for this team. He carried the load on offense. He willed them to the NCAA tournament. He had some moments late in games. I mean,
I think he'll have a little more help this year.
He's going to have more help this year.
Yeah.
He's going to have more help this year.